Yeah, so welcome back, guys. So I was thinking we could theme today more on the kind of healing side and the meditation side, and then Thursday on the letting go side. But at the same time, if we have any questions or things come up or whatever, like it's pretty free for all. So on that note, it's been a while. Do we have any questions, observations, discussion points, or anything you guys wanted to bring up?
In a work environment, you can't tell people to F off, right?
Mm.
And you have to work with them, but their energy is so heavy that they're like draining you. How do you deal with it?
Sure. That's a tricky one because it's like, I heard a podcast just yesterday. I think it was Dr. Joe, he's a good teacher. He was saying how nowadays you may be sitting next to someone at the office and your body's going into fight or flight, but you can't run. So you're stuck there in fight or flight. So you're like frying your nervous system because every part of you wants to run or punch them, but you have to just sit there and be like, so then the question becomes, if I can't punch them in the face or run, because I'm assuming you don't want to feel the feelings that are coming up. Like even though they're a knob, you'd probably just want to feel peaceful regardless. So then we can say, okay, the situation arises. I get there and then Captain Shitface is there, whatever his name is, and it doesn't feel good. So, we know the thing we can actually address is our perception. It's like our perception of Bob or whatever his name is, right? The other part is the practice of the letting go techniques. How can I let go moment to moment? And then there's another practice we spoke about, which is introspection. So I'd suggest an actual triple threat. I'd suggest that, meaning I'd work in all three ways. Letting go is essentially the skill of releasing emotions or energies as they arise. And this is a great skill, if not the greatest skill one can develop. Because if you can let go of stuff, if you can release blockages, then joy is yours, regardless of what happens. How about you tell me, how do you let go at the moment? What's your process for letting go?
My let go is I actually feel sorry for them that they're that miserable, that they have such heavy energy in them. They're not happy. Something is really draining them. But I'm the kind of person, I kind of suck their energy as well, feeling so heavy in my all day.
Because there's a low energy there, it's drawing from the environment. So what am I getting at? Whenever there's someone around us, right, often they activate a reflective energy within us. So, you meet one of your friends who's very upbeat and positive and you're like, ooh, I'm feeling, ooh, and it's like reflecting back to you. So what I'm getting at, and this may not be easy to hear, is that there may be that frequency within us. See what I'm getting at? So there may be something which co-vibrates with that, some form of similar frequency. And that's not like, we don't want to admit, oh, okay, I've got that in me, but it's possible. And most likely, meaning because we all have a connection to all the levels of consciousness, right? Yeah. So what I'm getting at now is, okay, yes, we have a perception of, okay, I feel sorry for them, that's good. That's a level of compassion, right? You're not getting angry at them and punching them, right? As much as it might be fun to. But then the question becomes is, how do you release that frequency when you notice it essentially draining you? Do you see what I'm getting at? Because a part of the problem is that if we don't like it, we actually feed it. And the question is, how do we let go of that energy within us as it arises? The first step is sensing the sensation, to actually bring yourself to the sense of where you are. Because when you sense yourself, you'll start to notice, okay, how do I experience this right now? What is the experience on a sensation and sensing level, as opposed to what is my emotional and mental judgments of the situation, which aren't actually rooted in the present. If you can sit with the sensation and the sense of your space, you can actually address what the frequency is. Think of it like we're all radios, right? And we pick up radio stations. So if you can sit with the sense of your body, you can catch the frequency. That becomes the point when you can start to use the letting go process. Yeah? What would you do now? So you're in a situation, you've gone, oh shit, I'm going to apply the letting go technique now. And you start to sense yourself. So Mike's now sensing himself. Now what are you going to do?
What I do is, it's a higher power.
You jump to that one.
I do usually like, okay, this is here. I know anything I try to do to like get into it or whatever, it's just like, it kind of reinforces it. So I'm just like, God, I surrender it to you, and just like open the space. And
Awesome.
it's just like a little bit of space that makes it less claustrophobic.
Awesome. So let's look at that. Mike goes from sensing to devotion. Devotion and surrender, which is good because he's letting it be there and releasing it upward. The mind gets caught in a loop of chatter. The emotions start to resist the sensation. The body is already starting to go into fight or flight and pumping chemicals through our systems. We're caught in a subconscious pattern. Does that make sense? So let's look at the middle point. We have sensations. This is actually a really simple process, but it's so simple that the mind will override it as too simple. Sense it, right? Simple, right? So you're with it, you're present with it through sense. Devotion, I am a part of something greater. I surrender this to Christ, I surrender this to God, I surrender this to the universe, to Krishna, to whatever, something greater, right? On the other end of that. So we've gone from just being a nice little human to the almighty, powerful, supreme being, oneness of God, right? A nice little midpoint, which I suggest we train, is grateful surrender. Because grateful comes up to the level of 540. So love and unconditional love. So when we train ourselves to be grateful for the opportunity to surrender, truly you can transform yourself. Been MIA for a bit, and I could sense something was up because I'm very intuitive, because I've been training for a long time. So I knew something was up. I asked him, are you going to continue with your teacher training? Because he was enrolled in teacher training. He said, no, I'm not going to do it because I don't think your system is the this, that, and the other. And he's been talking to another teacher, and long story short, there was, from my perspective, a bit of betrayal and negativity energy coming up, right? And I noticed John, like you could say, 90s John wearing his 90s jacket, coming up going, all right, where's the baseball bat? I could see him coming out, you know, and I could feel the negative energies coming up. But because I've trained it so much, I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. What a wonderful opportunity I've been blessed with. And I was like, oh, wow. When you really grasp that concept that negative emotions are your opportunities to release. Our friend that's draining the environment is actually giving you opportunities to release a frequency within you that you don't enjoy. Because the emotion that's coming up in that moment is one you don't like and you want to let it go. But in order to remove what you don't like, you need to be aware. It needs to be an awareness to it, right? So we come back to that process. It's actually a very simple process. Step one, sense sensation. I'm observing a sensation in my body that is unpleasant, rather than saying, I'm grateful for this opportunity to surrender this. And as you go from that, then this is where you can also get stuck, because Mike goes, I go straight to devotion now. And that's where we just kind of admit that without God, life, whatever, we aren't here. So that's why we say, I surrender this to you, O Lord. And then it kind of takes it off your shoulders to a degree. So you don't even need to believe in God, meaning I know atheists who use this process extremely well, and they just think of their higher self or life. You know, they don't think of that God, for example. So that simple process is, I know I'm giving a bit of a long story on it, but that's the tool you want to cultivate, sensing your space and your body, which you do in meditation. You practice meditation already, right? And also the meditations we do, because we sense ourselves. That becomes a habit, and you train yourself to sense yourself and have a grateful sense of surrender when it arises. And you practice that moment to moment. And you'll find that as you do that, you'll get better and better and better at it. Small things make it easier because you practice the skill. Okay, so that's one part of it. Good. There's a few other, that's one tool, surrender. The other tool that we spoke of is perception, but it sounds like your perception is pretty good. You're not exactly, you kind of more so want to just not be near it as opposed to want to punch them, right? So what am I getting at? It sounds like the perception is good. I mean, we can always have even better layers of perception, but it doesn't sound like it needs too much work. The next piece would be introspection that we spoke about. Introspection is the evening practice. As you lie down, see yourself acting, thinking, feeling in the way you'd like to in that situation. That's using the mind creatively. So you see the situation coming, fill your heart with the rosy light and the lovingness that shines forth towards them. So use the reminder of them as a trigger to step into your spiritual intention. Unconditional love, peace, joy, freedom, whatever it might be, right? And then lastly, my suggestion would be actually set up your protections in the morning, since it's before work. Or whether it's, I don't know if there's any protection meditations you practice from your faith. I'd do if I was in your shoes, knowing that I'm going to go see Bob today, I'd make sure I protect myself. But also the last piece would be, do your best not to feel any type of force or negativity towards this person. Because you're right, they're suffering. Obviously, they're,
Not happy with themselves.
So they're an immeasurable energy. The deeper, the Christ said it best. He has love your enemies. The dude was on a cross, being crucified, and he was like, "Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do." What a beast! That's like, I look at his life. I'm like, damn, he's good. I'm like, what am I getting at? Surrender. Okay, good. Sense, gratitude, devotion. Good. So practice your surrender technique. That's a skill that just keeps paying high returns. You get so much value out of that as you get good at it, right? You get better at it. That's what I've observed in myself and in my students. You get better at applying it to different contexts and different layers of yourself, energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally. So you've got surrender. And then the next piece is perception, but we said that's one that you seem to be quite good with. The other part's introspection. So we've got a few angles here. Do your introspection. At night, see yourself operating in a certain way. In the morning, do your protection meditations. It was 39, went to bed, didn't wake up. Crazy. And she was left with her young 2-year-old autistic son, and she's been going through the motions. Like, you can imagine how hard that would be. She calls me, she sends me messages, I'll show you. I know it's on the phone. I just get a message, I'll wake up and it says, cunt. That's her humor, right? So long story short, she used to be a life coach, Reiki healer. She kind of got me on the spiritual path when I was younger, right? But now she's all about the 5D, so 5th dimension. This is the 3rd dimension, the physical world. The 4th dimension is our emotional world. The 5th dimension is our mental world. They relate 5th dimension to what they call the quantum field. In the field, in your mental world, you see your highest self, your highest timeline, they call it, loving this person. So that when you go to them, they become a source of enhancement. Because if you can really and truly tune into a loving energy, then no one can drain you. If we can tune into that open heart center, which is aligned with our highest intention, then you'll find that your energy levels won't deplete. Because it's like you're an infinite sun of lovingness, yeah?
But I have to admit what you said, because lately I have been stressed myself. Otherwise, other people's behavior don't bother me too much, especially at workplace. But I have been stressed myself, so probably that's why.
Yes, the stress in you is like a similar vibration. So they go, oh, hello, and they interlock, and that sets up like a transmitting link. What it looks like in my mind when I've been cutting the own cords from myself is like 2-headed snakes. So a snake attached to me, and the other head of the snake is attached to them, and there's like a feedback loop. And it's not very nice. That's what it looks like to me in my consciousness, That kind of giving you a few angles to look at it. Hopefully that helps. Do we have any other questions, observations, or discussion points?
On the gratitude point, I find it hard at the time when I'm really in it. So I find when you talk about introspection, like doing it at night when there's a bit less of a charge, then I'm like, okay, that situation like sucks, but actually I am glad because now I know I can work on it now. Tomorrow it's going to be a bit better.
Yes.
So like I often forget. There'll be like days at a time where there's a situation I'm struggling with, but then there's a moment where I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot that this is an opportunity, and then I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. When you're like, I can actually turn towards it and not run away, it then allows what you're saying, like to disenergize it, and then it does, like, it's weird, the exact same situation that 2 days ago caused this big reaction is completely different now. It's like the emotional response is gone. So
Interesting, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It's always a relief.
Like, I love that you brought that up. And when it comes to your mind, it's like, ugh. And the reason is because, think of it like this. Me and Mike were in this building. There's 1,000 levels in the building. And we're on a certain floor. We're at floor 192. And we're looking out at this thing. We're like, ugh. The view's terrible. It's blocked by other buildings. And then you remember, oh, that's right. I can look at this from a better state of gratitude. So you go up to floor 500 and you go, ooh, what a wonderful view. See what I'm getting at?
Recently in July, we booked Shangri-La because that's my favorite hotel. So we have a nice view of everything. And then this time, like, we got, which level was it? I don't remember. It was lower level. We always used to be on higher level, and there was a building that was blocking the water view, and I kept going on and on and on about it.
Tim was like, oh, fuck, I should have got the higher floor. That's an actual real physical example. And it's a psychological example of Mike's. And it's so, we all have this same, natural tendency to resist that which we don't like. But in doing so, it persists because you're actually holding it in space when you don't allow yourself to experience its energy. Force creates counterforce. If I'm using a layer of force to hold this idea at bay, I'm creating a counterforce, which is just keeping it there.
You're not anymore. You don't hold up this emotional barrier and it's lighter.
Yes, 100%, right? But yeah, when you release it, it's like, oh, I'm connected to life. Fascinating. So really practicing and training that grateful surrender, which I think is, what is it, number 4? No, number 6, gratefully surrender. Because I've found that so beneficial. When you get into a state of grateful surrender, it's really an unlock. Things just transform, you know, because once again, gratitude calibrates it at 500, 540. So it's a very high frequency. You know, like when someone gives you something, you're like, thank you. There's a very good frequency to it. So yeah, you're right. It's hard in the moment and easier later, that's for sure. I have no doubt about that. The question becomes is how do we condition it to become a habit, right? And that's, so then it's a useful habit, you know, it's a habit that supports our evolution. One trick that I've been playing with lately is putting why am I in front of it. So for example, you know, why am I so grateful for this negative emotion? As opposed to saying I am grateful, because there's that part of us that doesn't. It's kind of similar to when you say like you have some goal. You know, they talk about mantras and say I am peaceful, rather than saying I am peaceful, say why am I peaceful? And what it does is it circumvents the kind of cognitive dissonance and resistance to an affirmation or auto-suggestion, because your mind starts to come up with reasons why you are that as opposed to reasons why you're not. Why am I peaceful? Oh, because you've been practicing meditation. So you start to reinforce it within your own mind. So I've been practicing that for a couple of months now just to see if it's good, and I have gotten good results, so I'm starting to share it with you guys. Anyway, so I started looking it up and like where it came from and who started this whole why am I. And the guy that invented it, his name was, I think his name was Saint Noah John or something. John or something like that. And I was just like, that's a sign, because Noah's obviously my oldest and I'm John, just if you didn't know. And his name was Noah St. John or something like that. I was like, no way. So I was like, yeah, this is for me. Because I think it's a good one for us all to use. Like when you feel the resistance in a moment to actually say, why am I so grateful? Because often we don't say it because we're not. Because we know we're not. We know we're not grateful for this shit situation. We're like, fuck this situation. You know, like we don't like it, right? But if we can get behind the, kind of trick the subconscious mind and get behind the front door and say, why am I grateful? Because I know this is an opportunity to let go and level up. Because I want to let this go. So you start to trick your mind into supporting your direction. So try that one. Noah St. John. You can thank Noah St. John. Any other observations, questions, discussion points?
That he gave me when I finished it. I really liked how it said, when you are surrounded with people with high vibration and frequency, it's just so good. And I started noticing that lately.
It says like get into spiritual circles or something like that, because the environment influences you. That's why this is a good environment. You know, everyone in here has an intention to uplift themselves. So like, and I suppose you've just got to weigh it up. Like, how much do I value peace versus this relationship? Because like, yeah, there are some people now, like, to be honest with you, if I look throughout my life, you know, I've had to learn that you've just got to cut people off sometimes. Like, no, even though my gut was telling me, nah, stay away from that motherfucker. And then I was like, no, I'm supposed to be loving. And then I do it, even though something's telling me to stay the fuck away. And then I get bitten and burnt. And then stupid me still does it again. And then I get burnt and burnt and burnt. And I'm like sizzled. I'm like a black burnt sausage now. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? I'm continually learning this. So what am I getting at? To your point, like seriously, if you can actually say goodbye, I think it's worth doing. And then have the patience to allow space for new, more evolved relationships to enter. I think it's worth it. It's been my experience at least. Yeah, they just love draining you. Some people are very cunning at facades and making you feel like it's okay. Like, Christ called it the wolf in sheep's clothing, right? So anyway, peace be with you. Goodbye.
Like, I can already feel it now, just being here having this conversation. It's something that's just getting lighter and nicer. Same after training. It's always like the next day, I'm always like at my best. And then as the week goes on, it starts to fade a bit and come back.
I know. I first really felt that exact experience when I first went to Cyprus, because it was such a huge charge. I went there, it was the 31st of August 2009 for my first healing and meditation seminar. The reason I remember that date is because I had set an auto suggestion to be there on that date. Long story short, I think it was like a 5 or a 7 day meditation and healing seminar. And I went back to Hong Kong, and for like a month, I felt so different. And then I noticed, because it was a 5 day, and it was the first, like I was living in the city of Hong Kong, pollution and busy as, and just training Kung Fu, and I hadn't really gone, I'd been meditating, but I hadn't gone into like a room of high level meditators, spiritually advanced practitioners. And it was just like, whoa, it was something different about that, which is why I ended up moving there, right? But it's just exactly that. That was my first experience of that. And then I was like, whoa, that's such I wanted to recreate that. This space became a space like that, where we practice those meditations, where you can get, it's like you're plugging yourself in and charging up your iMic.
How much do you think in person compared to online makes a difference?
Your auras actually connect. Like, all of our auras are like, and we're all vibing together. Whereas online, yes, because I always wanted to go train and be around the best. Like, it's kind of a thing. I wanted to be around the best Wing Chun master. I wanted to go and study with the disciples of Daskalos. I found out about Esther Hicks, so I went and sat in the front row of her seminars just to be close to her aura and absorb and understand it from an energetic level. I go to America to train with Danaher and so forth, to be in the aura of the master. So there's definitely something to it. But put it another way, you've got Bob who doesn't practice at all, and then you've got Bob who does 3 times a week online. Who's going to be better off? So there's definitely still value to online, because if we've had myriads of transformations online where people go from, pretty shitty life perspectives and experiences to, I'm feeling great, blah, blah, blah. Getting off fucking drug addictions, getting out of terrible relationships. But yeah, I think face to face. You feel it, don't you? Like a difference, or?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Part of it's also that when you're face to face, it's just like all your attention and focus is really present.
Yeah.
So online, it feels a bit easier to be distracted.
Yeah. Very good. So how's it to be back, guys? Is it good to be back? Yeah. Back in the dojo? Yeah. Happy? Yeah.
We don't want you to leave Sydney.
Well, yeah. Maybe that's why I'm not there in America. You bastards. I guess in this type of training, you kind of just accept whatever happens. The mindset is, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great. Because why am I going to let an external situation govern how I experience my life? Either way, I get to be alive until I'm not. And then I'll be alive in a different way. Any final thoughts before we meditate? Sure. The easiest way, if you want the shortcut, is just excuse yourself. That's the best. Rather than trying to push through it, just say, I need to go to the bathroom, or I need to take a minute. I do think just going for a walk and getting out and changing the situation is the easiest, shortest shortcut, as opposed to in the moment, if you're feeling that tightness, change the environment. That's the simplest way, in my opinion. You have my blessing to just walk out of work. Tell them, Sifu John said I could. If you don't like it, go fight him. But yeah, I think that's the easiest shortcut, is to change your environment. Like, for me, for example, today when that thing came up for me and I was like, grateful surrender, I knew I could feel myself coming out of alignment. So got in my car, went for a drive, got a massage, then I came back and went for a walk in the sun. And then I was like, just gone completely now. It was just like that kind of, you've heard the analogy before, which Hawkins uses, where he says, like, in life what happens is that, you're going about life and then something happens and it's like you're a can, right? And something scratches the can and then, or someone's opened the barn doors and the animals start running. I could feel the animals running out. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh shit, here comes demonic John. I better get a handle on this one.
Demonic and angelic. We spoke about these terms last meditation, I think.
Yeah.
Energy, yeah, I like that.
I'm grateful for this opportunity. It was a lot coming up, so I was like, okay, I've got to do a bit more. I went for a walk in the sun, and then I called up a friend who's very empathic and understanding. Because I mean, if you think about it, guys, like, all we really want to do is feel good, right? Like,
That's what Dalai Lama says.
it's true, right?
Primary purpose in life is happiness.
Yeah, that's right. Like, that's what we're all seeking. We're trying to stay away from negative feelings and move towards good ones. And the cool news is that we are the governor of that. So really we are. You know, as soon as we start to claim that authority, it makes it easier to lead ourselves in that direction. I am responsible for my life in all ways, shapes and forms. It's kind of like that guy, Jocko Willink, you know, that kind of army dude who's like, radical responsibility, I'm responsible for everything. No, but I mean, I love that idea because he's taking responsibility for everything. And when you do that, you can actually change. You can move things, you can shift things. Whereas if it's this person or that person's or the weather's or your grandma's fault, you're always going to be a victim. Alrighty, let's do a short meditation. I'll just guide you through it and then you can send it or do whatever you need to with it. Our Father who art in heaven, holy be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our transgressions, as we forgive those who transgress against us. And lead us whilst being in temptation, and deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Absolute, infinite beingness. God, everlasting life, love and mercy. Enlighten our minds to understand you as the truth. Clean our hearts to reflect your love towards you and towards all other human beings. Let go of any complaints, hatred, blame, fear, negativities or upset. Let go of all the vibrations and feel only love in your heart. You can imagine some person, place, some experience or event which helps to potentiate that lovingness in the heart center. Feel it. Be fully aware of it. Now, as you rest in this loving frequency, remember it's not the image or the person or the place that make you feel love. It's that you are love. You experience it within you. Now, as you breathe calmly, spread this frequency into the whole space you occupy. Love life. Love yourself. And expand this light now till you see a rose-white sun covering the whole planet. Love life. Love yourself. And love all other human beings. Especially those who need it. Those who consider themselves your enemies. It takes nothing from you. Now, Bring the awareness back to the space within and just around you. Sense your etheric body. See yourself as a shell of rose white, radiant, bright light. Once again, take some deep, peaceful breaths. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. Good to have you guys back. So, on that note, we meditate to make it how we live our life. So Hawkins would teach, you make life a living prayer. You make life a contemplation. The objective of meditation is to bring that into life. Yeah? That's why we practice like standing and moving and sparring meditations, so to speak. Awesome. The way I'm structuring it is that, for the Kung Fu lessons, for the actual privates, the groups, the kids, the so on and so forth, that's charged. But these lessons I'm making free. We're very inclusive, slowly. Yeah. Very good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sifu. Appreciate it.
Sterno. Are you training tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Next week, you'll be back in action.